if asking me. I've been working with Databricks, implementing it from scratch since 2021 when I joined Gazprombank. There was a project of data migration from on-premise to the cloud. The bank decided to get rid of Hadoop. We had HDFS as a data lake and used Apache Spark as a compute. This on-premise data lake had traditional drawbacks such as consistency due to lack of ACID transactions, cluster management and its limit capacity. I created notebooks in Databricks with transformations to read. I used PySpark to read the data and write it to Delta format, then apply transformations. I prefer to use Spark SQL for data transformations because I guess SQL is more widespread than Python and more people can easily understand the code and the whole transformations. We just migrate from on-premise to the cloud, to Databricks. It was AWS managed services with Databricks. And also at Gazprombank, I was engaged in the project with integration with Alation. The goal was to implement a data governance framework at the bank. I guess we had typical problem like when data analysts or business analysts can't find out the data transformations, so to improve just data accessibility. Yeah, I connected Alation with data sources, also implemented configured different roles, permissions, also implemented data quality checks. Like uniqueness, accepted values. For example, at the bank it was outstanding balance cannot exceed the credit limit. Additionally, implemented data masking to hide some personal information when we create reports for external companies like audit external company, or it might be central bank as government organization. It's a passport and passport number has 10 digits, we hide it, or if the column title, for example, has word name, then we apply the appropriatable label to it. It was in my current position at Rocket Data. It was another project with Databricks, but with Azure managed services. That's why I work with Azure Data Factory, storage, SQL database, implement Unity catalog, because there wasn't data governance platforms such as Alation or Calibra at the company. I implemented Unity catalog to collect metadata, to centralize all data assets across Databricks environment, to have an ability to grant them permissions for different roles with different users. I use Data Factory, connected to data sources to ingest data, to build a data pipeline with some data flow. I use triggers to schedule pipeline to my pipeline, and to ingest data at sometimes it was when we need to get data at the certain period of time. For example, we know that the day all operations was closed yesterday, so we can schedule our pipeline to ingest data at night. And at night it was easier to perform this process because we had less users, active users, so the performance of clusters were better. Some of the triggers were event triggers. When we get a new batch of data, so we can just execute the pipeline, and dump the data to Databricks. So then in Databricks, to put all the data by the layers, since bronze, then to the silver layer, to do some transformations to create a silver layer, gold layer for our stakeholders, for our end users. In data masking, I think that I guess that data masking is a temporary hide based on the role. For example, if you have a role like a business user, so in one region, and you just can see the sales from another region. Masking allows you to temporarily hide this information. Encryption is more complicated, based on key, like it's not temporary approach, could be one way. The requirement was to mask personal information. Bank produced many reports for government organization, monthly reports with loan portfolio, with deposits, also a lot of reports for external audit company, because they need to approve credit rating of the bank. So the requirements was to hide all personal information like name, last name. It would look like stars for the end user. In the report, we will have a column with first name, last name. For the end user with who don't have an access for this information, it was just stars. I implemented data masking, this data masking process with user-defined functions. It was a custom process. I used Python libraries, just hide the sensitive information and replace it with symbols, with stars. It's a process that allows you to manage access to the different resources within, for example, Databricks, or in Snowflake we have the similar access control. When I use with Snowflake for DBT, for example, or when I use Fivetran to ingest data to Snowflake, for each of these tools I created a separate role and grant some permissions to this role. The similar, and manage the roles between users, different users, like developers, analysts, business users. I grouped users. It allows to easily manage a group of developer rather than grant access for each person. Developer can start a cluster, or analyst can create a notebook, and so on. I've implemented some basic data quality checks like uniqueness, non-nullness, accepted values, similar to DBT tests. Similar tests like built-in DBT tests. It was a different type of data. For example, accepted values, I could check the product type. I could check that I didn't have a null rating in the column with customer rating, because if we have a missed customer rating, we have to, our internal rating based system calculate the provision at 100%. We could see the spike in the provision, and that's not right. It was often some human mistake. Somebody just forgot to calculate rating. Rating, it was numbers, for example. We convert string to numbers. Regarding the customers, for example, We have a unique key in the column with a customer ID to avoid duplicates, product ID, for example. Also, I added freshness test data to check the freshness, to prevent bad data in the reports. We can concat columns and generate some hash key. Row number, just put the values for each rows, just number of the row. Rank, put the values for each row, but if we have equal value, for example, equal customer ID, rank, just put the equal value for them. For example, if we have an equal customer ID, rank, just put the 1, 2, 2, for example. Then skip the value 3, the number 3, because we have 2 equal customer ID and their number was 2. And dense rank will do almost the same, but don't skip the values. So we have like 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Fact or dimension. It's a dimension because we have descriptive information about our customers, and usually fact table, it consists of some information about sales, for example, and in fact table we have customer ID. We can connect this dimension and fact table to retrieve information about descriptive information about customers.
What would be the fact table for any customer dimension table? Can you give me some example?
Fact table for customer. Fact table where customer are used as a dimension, like sales, for example. We have fact table with order ID, customer ID. Based on customer ID, we can calculate some product metrics. I know about slowly changing dimensions. There are several types of slowly changing dimensions. I think the most popular is CD type 2, when we have column with start date and end date. I think the less popular is type 1, when we just overwrite the data. I used CD type 2 because we can always to see the history of our changes. It's easier to track all changes. Try to recall the situation when I used type 1, when I overwrite. I analyzed the billings in Azure and to monitor and analyze cost of our clusters for Databricks, where we have the waste of compute, for example. I think when we start to build some projects, we don't think usually about costs and just put everything on the table. But later for the team, when we build dashboard for our end users, for example, for our team, and we see that this dashboard just waste our compute, and I helped to keep Azure cost in budget. Cluster was too big, and we have too many clusters for the teams. I revised all our clusters, their types, considered to use smaller clusters for the team, because they just don't use the full of their performance, and it's just don't need to waste money on to keep such high performance class. I have some questions. How do you use Databricks and Snowflake? Can you please walk me through the data architecture and any plans for the future upgrades or changes? BI tool, I think it's Power BI. You have great. Thank you. Yeah.